Most people think Google Ads works like this. You choose some keywords, write an ad, give Google a budget, and Google starts sending customers to your business. But that's not actually how Google Ads works. Google Ads can send you traffic. It can definitely put your business in front of people who may be interested in what you have to offer. It can even help you find more of the people who are likely to convert. But Google Ads cannot automatically turn a weak offer, a bad website, incorrect tracking, or the wrong targeting into a profitable campaign. So before we create an account, choose keywords, or launch our first campaign, you need to understand what is actually happening behind the scene. In this video, I am going to show you the complete journey from the moment someone searches on Google to the moment they become a lead or a customer. Once you understand this entire process, the rest of Google Ads becomes much more easier. Welcome to the first video in this complete Google Ads series. This series is going to take you from having no Google Ads account at all to being able to create, track, manage, and optimize campaigns properly. But I don't want to begin by showing you which buttons to click. That's how essentially many beginners learn Google Ads. They follow a setup tutorial, choose whatever setting Google recommends, and launch the campaign, and then wonder why the campaign is spending so much money without producing good results. Instead, what we are doing here is we are going to begin with the underlying system, right? You need to understand what Google Ads can do, what it cannot do, and what needs to happen for an advertising click to become revenue for your business. So let's just start with the biggest misconception first. Google is not simply a place where you buy the first position. When you advertise on Google search, you are not permanently purchasing the first position, right? You are entering an auction system. That auction can happen every time someone performs a search that may be relevant to your business. The result can change from one search to another. Your ad might appear near the top for one search and then lower down for another search, or not appear at all. That is because Google does not simply ask which advertiser is willing to pay the most. The advertiser with the highest bid does not automatically receive the best placement on Google. Google considers several other factors as well, including how much the advertiser is willing to bid, how relevant and useful the ad appears to be, the landing page experience, the context of the search, the competition in that particular auction, and maybe the expected usefulness of the additional asset attached to the ad, right? So the first important lesson is this. Google Ads is an auction system, but it's not only a bidding contest. A more relevant advertiser can sometimes receive a better placement and pay much less than an advertiser who is willing to bid more, right? We'll talk about bidding, ad quality, and landing page experience in more detail later in this series. But for now, remember that you cannot simply force a campaign to succeed by just bumping up the budget or increasing the bids. The easiest way to understand Google Ads is to divide the system into 6 stages. The 6 stages are: number 1, intent; number 2, eligibility; number 3, auction; and then clicks, and conversion, and feedback. I'm going to go over each one by one. Stage 1. The potential customer expresses intent. Here's how it works. Imagine that someone discovers water leaking through the ceiling of their home, right? They are very much likely to open Google and type in something like emergency plumbing near me. That search, if you look at it, reveals something, right? It reveals intent. Now, this person is not simply reading an article about plumbing. They probably have an immediate problem and are actively looking for someone who can resolve it. This is one of the major strengths of Google search advertising. It allows advertisers to appear whenever a person is already expressing a need. But you have to remember this as well. Not every Google Ads campaign begins with a search or a keyword, right? Google Ads includes several different campaign types and advertising environments. For example, search campaigns can reach people who are actually searching for a product or service on Google search. Shopping campaigns can show products to people searching for items to purchase. YouTube, display, demand gen, and performance max campaigns can also reach people based on behavior, interest, content, audiences, product data, and other signals. And what's more, some campaign types are better at capturing existing demand. Others can really help create awareness, or bring previous visitors back to your website. For this specific explanation, I will primarily use a Google search campaign because it provides the clearest example of how the advertising system works. Now, stage two, Google determines which advertisers are eligible. After the search takes place, Google determines which advertisers may be eligible to show an ad. Suppose three plumbing companies are advertising, right? The first company serves the searcher's location. The second company is located hundreds of miles away and only targets its local city. The third company yet serves the area, but its campaign has been paused. All three companies might offer emergency plumbing, but that does not mean that all three can participate in this particular auction. We will first consider the campaign setting and eligibility conditions. Is the campaign really active? Is the ad approved? Does the advertiser target the searcher's location? Does the search match the advertiser's targeting? Does the campaign still have the ability to spend, etc., etc.? Or, for example, are there any policies or account issues preventing the ad from showing? This is why Google Ads performance is not controlled by one setting. Your location targeting, keywords, age types, audience, schedule, budget, bidding strategy, campaign type, ads, landing pages, and policy status, etc., can all affect whether you enter an advertising opportunity or not. This also explains why choosing the right keyword does not guarantee that your ad will appear every single time someone searches for it. A keyword helps Google understand which searches may be relevant to your search campaign, but it's really not a reservation for a permanent advertising position. Stage 3. The real-time auction takes place. Now, let's say three advertisers are eligible. Advertiser A is willing to bid as much as $12 for a click. Advertiser B is willing to pay $8 per bid, and advertiser C is willing to bid $5. As a beginner, you might assume that advertiser A automatically receives the best position because, of course, $12 is the highest bid, but the bid is only one part of the auction. Imagine that advertiser A uses a generic ad that goes, "Professional home services, contact us today." The landing page also lists 10 different services and barely mentions emergency plumbing. Now, contrast it with advertiser B, who uses an ad that says 24-hour emergency plumber, local technician available. The ad leads to a dedicated emergency plumbing page with the company's service area, phone number, response information, customer reviews, and a really clear booking option. Now, for this search, advertiser B may provide a much more relevant experience. Now, Google evaluates a collection of auction time factors to determine whether each ad can show and how the eligible ad should be ranked. This is generally referred to as ad rank. Ad rank considers bid, auction time ad quality, landing page experience, then search context, competition, ad rank thresholds, and expected impact of ad assets. So you may have heard people explain ad rank with a simple formula such as your bid multiplied by your quality score. That can be useful as a very basic illustration, but it's not an accurate description of the modern auction. In the modern auction, Google uses multiple auction time signals and calculations. Also, the visible quality score from 1 to 10 inside the Google Ads account is simply a diagnostic measurement. It helps you investigate expected click-through rate, ad relevance, and landing page experience. But as such, Google does not simply take that visible number and insert it into the auction as a score, right? The practical lesson in the context of auction participation is more important than the mathematical details. You need a competitive bid, and you need a relevant experience. You should not try to compensate for poor targeting, weak ads, or a bad landing page experience by just endlessly increasing your bids. Stage 4: the person sees and may click the ad. After the auction, the winning ads can appear on the search results page, but an impression is not a customer, right? It simply means the ad was shown. The person still has to notice the ad, understand the message, trust the business, and decide that the offer is relevant enough to click. This is the job of your ad. Your ad should connect the person's problem with the solution your business provides. For the emergency plumbing search in our example, the customer may be looking for several pieces of information. Does this company handle emergencies? Does it serve my location? Can I contact someone right now? Does the company look legitimate? Why should I choose this company instead of, let's say, the other business on the page? So a strong ad reduces uncertainty and really gives the person a clear reason as to why they should click on the ad and take the next step. What do you actually pay for? In a traditional search campaign, using cost per click bidding, you normally pay when someone clicks your ad, not simply because the ad appeared. The amount you actually pay for the click can be lower than your maximum bid. Your maximum bid is generally the highest amount you're willing to pay for the click. The actual cost depends on what's required to clear the relevant auction threshold and compete with other eligible advertisers. Different campaign types and bidding arrangements can charge are optimized around different outcomes, including clicks, impressions, views, conversions, and conversion value. We'll cover those models separately for now. Understand that your budget is purchasing advertising opportunities, right? It's not purchasing guaranteed leads, sales, or profit per se. Stage 5: the landing page and the business takeover. Once the person clicks the ad, Google has completed one of its main jobs. It has brought a potential customer to your business. Your website offer, reputation, pricing, your availability, and sales process is going to take over. This is where many advertisers incorrectly blame Google Ads for every poor result. Imagine that the emergency plumber receives 100 relevant clicks, but the website takes 10 seconds to load. Right, the phone number is difficult to find, or maybe the contact form has 15 different fields. There are no reviews, no service area information, and maybe no explanation of what happens after the person submits the form. Now, that campaign may be reaching the right people, but the business is really losing them after they are clicking and landing on the page. Google Ads cannot force someone to trust the website. It cannot force the company to answer the telephone. It cannot fix an uncompetitive price. It cannot make an unclear offer persuasive, right? It cannot definitely turn a service that nobody wants into a successful business. That's why campaign performance is not only an advertising problem, it is the combined result of several connected systems. Now, your campaign performance depends on a few things. That includes traffic quality, all right, the message, the offer, the landing page, the follow-up, the sales process. All of these are essentially equal to the business result that you will ultimately get. Google Ads certainly controls and influences parts of the journey, but it does not control the entire journey on its own. Stage 6: conversion tracking creates the feedback loop. Website actions can be various. For example, you can have phone calls on a website, or form submission, or if it's any e-commerce purchases, or appointment setup, or actual qualified lead. Well, let's say the visitor calls the plumbing company and books a service. That specific action could be a conversion. A conversion is an action that the advertiser considers valuable. Depending on the business, that might be a purchase, a phone call, completed form, booked consultation, app application, or maybe store visit, or another meaningful action, right? But Google does not automatically understand which business outcomes matter most to you. You have to define and measure them correctly. This creates the final stage of the system, that is the feedback loop. Your ad click leads to customer action, and your customer action leads to conversion, which is recorded, and the recorded conversion leads to campaign data. Conversion tracking helps you understand which campaigns, advertisements, or keywords, audiences, and searches are really contributing to valuable actions. It can also, provide the data used by automated bidding strategies that attempt to generate more conversions or more conversion value. But ultimately, the quality of data optimization depends heavily on the quality of the signal. So supposing the real goal of the plumbing campaign is to generate booked emergency service calls, but instead of measuring those calls, the advertiser tells Google that visiting the contact page is the main conversion action. Now, Google may begin finding more people who visit the contact page. That does not necessarily mean it's finding more people who call or become customers, right? Now, this is one of the important concepts in the entire Google Ads platform. That's, if you have bad conversion tracking in place, it does not simply create inaccurate reports, but it can also, push campaign optimization in the wrong direction. Later in this series, I am going to configure conversion tracking properly, and we'll decide which action should and should not guide bidding in the specific context of the example campaign that we will create. Now that you understand the complete process, let's clearly define what Google Ads can do for a business. First, Google Ads can really place your offer in front of people who may be interested in it. With search advertising, for example, this can happen at the exact moment someone expresses a need. Secondly, Google Ads can give you a high level of control. Depending on the campaign type, you can control or influence locations, budget, schedules, bidding, search targeting, audience, products, creative messages, landing pages, and many other things and settings. Number third, Google Ads can definitely generate measurable data. With proper tracking, you can see which campaigns are contributing to phone calls, leads, sales, revenue, and other valuable actions. Number four, it allows you to test demand and messaging. You can learn which search queries people use, which offers attract attention, which advertisements generate clicks, and which landing pages produce better results. And finally, Google Ads can definitely help scale a working acquisition system. When you have the right offer, accurate tracking, sufficient demand, a strong customer journey, and profitable economics, advertising can really help you reach more potential customers. Now, what Google Ads cannot do. Google Ads has important limitations as well. It cannot guarantee, for example, that every click will become a customer. It cannot guarantee that every lead will be a qualified lead. It cannot guarantee unlimited demand for a product or service. It cannot rescue a business that has an offer that the customers do not value. It cannot automatically understand the difference between a low quality lead and a profitable customer unless the information is measured and sent back into the system. Again, it cannot repair a poor landing page, a slow sales response, a weak customer service, bad pricing, or a damaged reputation, etc., etc. Google Ads cannot guarantee profitability simply because a campaign is receiving conversions. A campaign that generates conversion or can generate conversions can still lose money when the cost to acquire those customers is higher than the value they create. This is why successful Google Ads management requires business thinking, not only knowledge of the advertising interface. You need to understand your customers, your offer, your economics, your website, and your measurement and your sales process in order for you to really be able to run a profitable campaign on the Google Ads platform. Let's bring everything together. A potential customer expresses a need. Google identifies advertisements that may be eligible for that opportunity. An auction determines which ads can appear and how they are ranked. The person decides whether to click or not to click. After the click, the landing page offer, our business must turn the visitor into a lead, our customer, and then the conversion tracking records what happened and creates the data needed for reporting and optimization. That, in a nutshell, is how Google Ads actually works. It's not a machine into which you insert money and automatically receive customers. It's a system that connects customer intent, advertising decisions, an auction, a customer experience, and business outcomes. When all of those pieces are aligned, Google Ads can be extremely powerful. But when one or more of them are broken, a campaign can unfortunately spend a significant amount of money without producing a meaningful return. In the next video, we are going to define the goal your campaign should actually optimize for. Before opening Google Ads, you need to know what a real conversion is for your business, what each conversion is worth, and which actions should guide your bidding decisions. This is where many campaigns go wrong before they're even launched. Subscribe to the channel so you can follow the complete series in order, and watch the next video before creating your first campaign. I'll see you there.